Unafraid Show, Reister or Wrong. Your boy George Reister back here to bring the truth, bring the heat. You already know these other shows, when you watch them, they want to give you the fluff. Oh, they want to give you the politically correct. They want to give you this and that. No, we are here bringing the truth, here bringing the heat on a daily basis. Make sure you swipe up, share the feed with a friend. Make sure you tell everybody about Unafraid Show. And if you miss any Unafraid Show, download the podcast on iTunes, hashtag Unafraid Show, or tune in as well. Yeah, so let's get started. What we got on track for you guys today is, so first of all, LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers, can we please stop with the overreaction? Oh my God, they destroyed Boston. They destroyed Boston championship, Eastern Conference championship. Slow the hell down, man. Like, this is not what, it's one game. So we're going to break down what's going on with the Cavs and all these people so excited about what the Cavs did at the trade deadline. I'm not giving the Cavs credit for what they did at the trading deadline, because first and foremost, it's like a kid cramming for a test. Like, you don't study the whole time. You cram for a test. You get a B-, and then you're like, oh, yeah, I did great. No, you didn't. You could have did better had you not screwed up the roster in the first place. So we're going to get to the we're going to get to the Cavaliers and the overreaction. And then also how LeBron James, I've said it so many times, LeBron James does not make his great teammates better. He makes his average teammates better. But the great ones, nope. Also, former MLB All-Star Esteban Loaiza was arrested with 20 kilos of cocaine and heroin. We're going to talk about that, how much it's worth, and how athletes used to be smuggling drugs for a while. We're going to talk about that. Also, Johnny Manziel says he's been diagnosed as bipolar. Do you believe him? Do you care? And do you think he can make a comeback? And also, first of all, before we even get started with anything, Instagram stalkers, you guys are done. You guys are done, Instagram stalkers. So Instagram is now like Snapchat. They already tell you when somebody views your story, so you can see who's stalking, even though they're trying not to like your pictures. They're still watching your story. Now you can see when the stalker screenshot it, and it's going to give you a notification. Yep, telling on you. But now let's get to the gotcha. The Cleveland Cavaliers. You guys make sure you swipe up, share the feed with a friend, share the Unafraid Show. So the Cleveland Cavaliers, yesterday, they beat the Boston Celtics, the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference, 121 to 99. Cavs fans are excited everywhere. See, I told you, LeBron's energized. He's energized. That's what's going to happen all the time now. Okay, how about, like, let's slow down. Like, let's just put all this Cleveland Cavaliers talk into perspective. So everybody plays hard when they get a new coach. My first coach in Jacksonville, Jack Del Rio, said one thing I'll never forget. There are two things that happen in sports. There's coaches that get fired and the players get fired. So the Cleveland Cavaliers players just got fired. Essentially just got traded away for new players because they weren't playing hard, weren't playing well. And when you do that, there's a spark, there's an energy coming in, because you got Jordan Clarkson, Larry Nance Jr., and Rodney Hood all want money. They all want to get paid, so they're all going to come in and play hard. Yep, okay. And then the Celtics have no film on these guys playing together. No film at all. No defensive schemes on how they're going to play. All of this, but everybody's excited because the Cavaliers won a game. And then, like, let's just not just take into account the Cavaliers were energized. They shot over 53% from the three-point line, but, like, we're going to sit up here and praise them for this. No, man. This is one game in an 82-game season. They beat Boston the first game of the season. And now everybody's like, oh, yeah. They can win the East now. They're going to win the East. No, man. You're going to need 15 to 20 games for good coaches like Brad Stevens or the Celtics to get a book on the Cavaliers, a book on how to defend Rodney Hood, Jordan Clarkson, Larry Nance Jr., and George Hill. There's a reason why Rodney Hood and Clarkson are just scorers and kind of bench players. There's a reason why. Like, let's not sit up here and act like that they are like all of a sudden going to become all-stars because of what's happening in one game. This is one game. And also, like, nobody's seen them play. And Cavs fans are absolutely the most delusional fans on earth. Like they are the most delusional because they believe that just because you have LeBron James that you can win every single game. And they also are confused and delusional about the actual greatness of LeBron James in terms of him making his teammates better. I've said it so many times and I will say it again. LeBron James, make sure you guys share this out right now. That way everybody can understand because I've said it so many times. LeBron James does not make his great teammates better. He does not. He makes his average teammates better. He does not make his great teammates better. Mind you, like let's look at an example. Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving, his game was hindered by playing with LeBron James. We've seen that since he's been in the Celtics uniform. Kevin Love's game has been hindered since playing with LeBron James. Same thing. Chris Bosh, his game was hindered by playing with LeBron James. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, LeBron James fans. But when it comes to like a Channing Frye, Kyle Korver, even a Jordan Clarkson or a Larry Nance Jr., like role player guys, he makes them better, but he hinders the other players' games around him. Dwayne Wade's game was not really affected because he's one of the greatest players of all time. But the other players, nope. I've been saying it for a while, and you guys are going to have to come to the realization that this is true. I'm sending this out right now. You guys have to come to the realization that these things are true. Because if they were not true, LeBron James you would not see Kevin Love. You would not see Chris Bosh be scapegoated as much as they are. You wouldn't see it. Because if LeBron James truly made these guys better on the level that everybody else says, you would not have that. You would not have that at all. But, of course, you're going to see an uptick in production from Osman, who you didn't know existed. You're going to see an uptick from George Hill because he was unhappy in Sacramento. You're going to see an uptick in what Larry Nance Jr. does. You're going to see an uptick in Jordan Clarkson and Rodney Hood. That's what you're going to see an uptick in. But when you really look at the details of this Celtics game, and I know that Nick Wright and I know that Shannon Sharp and all these other guys are going to scream at you and tell you that the Cavaliers are back and they're going to win the Eastern Conference and this is evidence of this one game. And I will say it's possible that they may win the Eastern Conference. However, rolling over the Boston Celtics is not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy because Brad Stevens is going to come up with a defensive scheme to stop these guys. And as soon as the new car smell runs out of LeBron's new shiny toys, you will see what they're really about. That's 15, 20 games in. They're going to get rejuvenated, all-star break. They might go win 7, 8 games in a row. And then you'll really see what they're about after that. I mean, like, let's stop, man. Let's just stop. Another interesting story that came across the wire today was Esteban Loaiza. 120-game winner in his MLB career, 13 years, 8 teams, 2 All-Star games, 2003, 2004, made over $43 million, was just arrested with at least 20 kilos of heroin or cocaine. And a lot of people see it and they're like, okay, wow. Like, that's a lot. Like, how much does this equate to? Is this a big deal? Why do athletes sell drugs? Why do people sell drugs just in general? And he made $43 million. Why is he doing this? Let me explain this to you here. Is that selling drugs has nothing to do with your, like Like when Aaron Hernandez was allegedly selling drugs. You had Sam Hurd allegedly selling, well, not allegedly. He's in jail right now for 15 years for selling dope. Travis Henry. You've had a bunch of guys arrested for selling dope. And people ask, well, he was a multimillionaire. Why would he sell dope? Because that's what dope dealers do. They want the thrill. They want the rush. They want the money. This is the lifestyle that they want. And let me break this down to you, how much money that this really is. So a kilo is 2.2 pounds. I mean, it just equates the same as it does everywhere else, whether it's dope or whether it's salt. So 2.2 pounds of weed is going to cost you about, a kilo of weed is going to cost you about $6,000. It's going to cost you about $6,000. So had Esteban Loaiza had 20 kilos of weed, he would have had about $264,000 on him. But if it were cocaine, the price of cocaine is about $24,000 per kilo. I know you guys are asking me how I got these stats and got these numbers. Your boy got sources. That's all you need to know. 24,000 times 20 kilos, that's $480,000. That's almost $500,000. And then the actual price that he bought it for, being that he is from Mexico, his connect is probably from Mexico, probably bought it for about a third of the price. So he's profited about, $300,000 off of that coke. But if it were heroin, depending on what state you're in, the demand, all of that, heroin will cost you about $150,000 per kilo. That means that's about $3 million. It's about $3 million this man may have had he had cocaine, had he had heroin. And this is not the first time that we have had players or heard of players getting caught with dope. Let me let you in on a little secret that does not happen anymore, but used to happen in professional athletics and used to happen in corporate America as well. Because chartered flights, so this is prior to 9/11, chartered flights did not used to get your bag screened and checked the same way that you do when you traditionally go through the airport. So this is pre 9/11. So what guys used to do is, whether it was in corporate America or whether it was athletes, they would smuggle drugs. They would transport drugs from one place to another because they did not have to get their bags checked. So if you're going on an away trip, you can bring an extra bag, extra 2 bags, may be able to fit 10, 20, 30 kilos in a bag. I mean, think about it. 30 kilos, what's that, 70 pounds? That's like not an abnormal size for a bag. So they would transport it from place to place and make money that way. So that's something that used to happen. It does not happen anymore because of 9/11. Now on chartered flights, all of these bags, they go through security and they get screened. So you would actually have to have a network of people to help you and assist you in this. And when you look at what Esteban Loaiza did, made $43 million. He just wanted to sell dope. And then that got me to thinking the king of all known, I'm going to say known, dope dealers, who was a professional athlete, Sam Hurd. Sam Hurd was a special teams player for the Chicago Bears. I mean, good player. You wouldn't really know him. You wouldn't know him if you walked down the street. You wouldn't know who he is, any of that. But Sam Hurd is now doing 15 years. Sam Hurd's now doing 15 years in jail for moving weight while he was an active. Now, I mean, mind you, Esteban Loaiza, who's a former MLB pitcher, is a former player who made $43 million. Sam Hurd was an active NFL player for the Chicago Bears. Now he's doing 15 years. Listen to this. The man was moving 10 kilos. Well, he was trying to move 10 kilos of coke per week at if you're moving it, wholesaling it out at $24,000 per kilo. So that's about $240,000, $250,000 a week in cocaine. And then 1,000 kilos per week in weed. 1,000 kilos per week in weed. That's $6 million. Plus the two, I mean, like the man was moving like $6-7 million in drugs per week. He was not an NFL player. He was a dope dealer pretending to be an NFL player. And you know what Sam Hurd did that Esteban Loaiza better take note to? Is that Sam Hurd took his time. He didn't snitch on anybody because it doesn't make any sense. Because what they're trying to do is trying to go up the food chain. They want to know who Sam Hurd's connect was, who Esteban Loaiza's connect was. They want to know all these things. But what do you have to do in this situation? You can't snitch, because what are you going to do? Because what happens if you snitch? Even if you haven't been around drug dealers, you've seen enough drug movies. If you snitch, what's going to happen? They're going to kill you, kill your family, all of this stuff. So if you get jammed up, you just got to take your time, man. Because I never understood when people do the snitching. Because if me and you commit a crime together, it makes no sense to me why, if I get caught, you do not get caught, why I tell on you to get a lesser sentence. We both agreed to do this. If you did something shady to me, now that's a whole different story. Then all bets are off. But at the point in time that we both did everything that we were supposed to do, but I just got caught, yeah, nah, I'm not snitching. And so the mentality, though, behind a player who chooses to sell dope is this. I'm going to tell you a little story about me. Is that there were two people that I that I looked at out in the world when I was in college. And from high school, college, whatever. There were two people out in the world that I looked at and I was like, oh my God, I want to be like these people out in the world. Number one was Ben Carson. Not new Ben Carson, who's the urban housing director, Ben Carson. I'm talking about the Ben Carson that wrote Think Big. Because these are two separate people, clearly. I'm talking about Ben Carson, Think Big, and Gifted Hands, Ben Carson. That's who I was like, neurosurgeon, black man. He's doing the thing. That's just who I want to be like. The other person I wanted to be like was Pablo Escobar. I know these people couldn't be on two further ends of the spectrum. But guess what? That's who George Reister, that's what I want it to be. I want it to be powerful, want it to be rich, want it to be all of these things. And I literally sat in my dorm room my junior year, before I came out, my sophomore or junior year. Sat in the room and I was like, okay, hold up. So am I going to do this NFL thing? Am I going to go do the NFL thing? Am I going to go be a doctor or a lawyer? Am I going to go work at Nike? Am I going to go sell dope? Because I was like, I can do this for 5 years. I know I'll be good at it. I'm good at math, good at business, good at hustling. I can make $100 million and walk away. Because in my estimation, I was like, all right, 5 years is what typically drug dealers kind of get out of this life before you get jammed up, before you go to jail. Because there are no old drug dealers. You either dead or go to jail. There's no like real in between for this. There's no in between. Like one of those two things is happening. So I'm sitting there like, okay, what am I going to do? Like, what is my path in life going to be? And I decided to do the football thing. I know it sounds crazy that I actually sat in my dorm room and had this conversation with myself. Literally wrote out pros and cons. But I did. Because this is what I mean, for some reason, this is what I wanted in life. We'll talk about that, about why, who, what, when, where on a later date, why that was so. But this is what it was. And that's the same thing with Esteban Loaiza, the MLB pitcher. I don't know whether the man was broke. He made $43 million in his career. He didn't retire. He hadn't even been retired 10 years yet. So I don't know if the man was broke. But I do know the man wanted to sell dope. And guess what? This was probably not the first time that he moved weight. This is probably not. He just probably got caught up with the wrong people, messing with some new friends, and got jammed up. Sucks. Sucks. Bad choices in life give you bad consequences, bad things. Other thing up, Johnny Manziel. Johnny Manziel has come out, so he did an interview talking about his life, alcoholism, talking about that he was diagnosed as bipolar, and this is that. And this is that. Somebody asked, what do I think about Blake coming to Detroit? He's talking about Blake Griffin. I think it's a great move for Blake. I thought it was horrible for the Clippers organization because that was all they had. That was literally all they had. I mean, all they had for their future. Nobody else can possibly have a statue for the Clippers. The Clippers are a long way away from being an important franchise. But Johnny Manziel. Johnny Manziel was, obviously, he was Johnny Football. Everybody knew who Johnny Manziel was. And, you know, and he was a big-time athlete. People thought he was going to be the man in Cleveland. All of this. Okay. And I'm sitting there thinking, all right, okay, this is cool. Johnny, you admitted that you were, that you've been diagnosed as bipolar. You've admitted that you had an alcohol problem and all these things. And here is what I'll say about this. Is as a professional athlete and a football player in particular, let's think about some of the things that we say about football players in particular. Like, you kind of live a bipolar lifestyle. You do. When you hear a guy that say, oh man, he's a savage on the field. He's mean. He's nasty. But when he gets off, he's the nicest guy ever. So you are literally living a manic life. Like you are way up here during part of your life when you're playing. And then in real life, you're down here. And so you have to, you learn to live in this space. And it's not easy for everybody to turn it off and turn it on. Because you hear, oh, this guy, he can flip the switch. He knows when to come it on and bring it more. Yeah, but that's, I mean, like, how does that work in real regular life? Like, that's not normal behavior for somebody to be, you know, hot and cold 1 minute. Like, come on. Like, come on. Like, it's just not the way it works. Like, not the way it works out in the real world. So I have sympathy for LeBron James. For Johnny Manziel, in that he couldn't handle what he was thrust into. Because I said it a lot of times, where there's a lot of times where your athletic ability and your God-given talent, whether you are an actor, football player, musician, whatever it is, where your God-given talents and abilities take you to a place where you're not mentally, spiritually, and emotionally ready for it. And that's what happened to Johnny Manziel. So do I believe that the man is possibly bipolar? Yeah, I do. Because you live a bipolar lifestyle when you are playing football, when you're playing sports just in general. I mean, think about Kobe. Kobe Bryant was an assassin on the court. He absolutely lived and died basketball. Like, this is what he breathed. And then all of a sudden he's got to go home and be a family man. Like, you got to go home and be a family man. Somebody said, did I struggle like that during my playing career? I didn't struggle with drugs or anything like that. But what you do struggle with is this. Is I always say that players need life skills. They need to be taught stuff that you were skipped over in life just because you were pushed through because of your talents and abilities. And one of the things that I always say, guys need life skills. They need conflict resolution skills. They need ways to cope and all of this stuff. Because I'll tell you this, whether it's Johnny Manziel or whether it's Tom Brady or whether it's Peyton Manning, whoever, when you are a professional athlete, if you're a basketball player, you get mad. You can actually, Michael Jordan punched a teammate. When you are a When you're a basketball player, you can shoot jump shots until you're tired. When you can hit somebody, you can dunk on somebody. When you're a baseball player, you're pissed off at somebody, hit the ball hard. You can hit them forever. You can catch ground balls. You can do all of this stuff, exert that energy. When you are a football player, you can hit people. You can literally occasionally fight your teammates. If you're a hockey player, you're allowed to fight, which is a whole different situation. Why are hockey players allowed to fight? But I feel like if black people played hockey, there would be no fighting allowed. But anyways, but then when you go home, so you're used to dealing with your problems in a physical manner. If you got a problem with somebody, you can literally take your aggression out on them or something else. When you get home, if I get home and my wife, and I get in an argument with my wife, my girlfriend, my sister, mom, whoever it is, and she won't shut up, and she won't just leave me alone, keep talking mess to me, why, like, if I don't have the proper tools to deal with these problems, guess what's going to happen? Something bad. Because you can say don't hit women. You can say don't fight people. You can say all of this. But if you do not have the proper skills, the proper skill set, and you're not mentally fit as you are physically fit, then bad things are going to happen at home. Like, and there are people, I mean, because there's a point for everybody. And so Johnny Manziel, do I feel bad for him? Yeah, I do. Do I think he's trying to get sympathy? Yeah. But do I think it's smart? Yeah. Because he's trying to make a comeback. And there's nothing better than people feeling good about you trying to make a comeback. Because when you're trying to make a comeback, you need as much public support as possible. Because the leagues are going to fight against you. People don't want to sign you. People don't want to be associated with you. That is what it is. So you have to be willing to roll with the punches and get the public perception and sympathy on your side. Another person making a comeback is me. I am making a professional athletic comeback. This time it will be in curling. This time it will be in curling. I have said it for years on top of years on radio shows, on television, wherever. Curling is by far my favorite Winter Olympic sport. It's not even close. And the best part about curling is I feel like I could do it. I know it's difficult. I know that you have to be an absolute, that you have to be great at something. You have to be absolutely talented. But guess what? Curling is one of those things. I mean, curling is like bowling. Like, you can be great at bowling if you put enough practice, time, dedication, and energy into it. And I myself, so I've already talked to the people at Hollywood Curling. In 2 weeks, I start my curling training, and I am getting ready for the 2022 Olympics. I'm going to try my best because I've always wanted to win a gold medal. And I am going for a gold medal in the 2022 Olympics in curling. I'm telling you, I do not believe that, like, I know curling's difficult. I know that you have to practice a long time at it to be good. But I'm going to tell you that this is something I'm going to do. 2022, George Reister will be at the Olympics in curling, doing my rolling the stones down there, getting the hammer. And guess what I won't do? Guess what I won't do? I will not choke. That's the thing that I know. So our mixed doubles team, they lost too many games. They were favored to potentially get a medal, and they choked. And I'm telling you this, I will not choke. I have zero history of choking in my life. Like, in high school, made game-winning shots, hit big plays, caught game-winning touchdowns in the NFL. I will not choke. That's the one thing that I can guarantee to you guys about my 2022 Olympic bid in curling, that I will not choke. I promise you that. So you guys support me. I might start a GoFundMe, but I will send out pictures of where I started and where I finished in my pursuit of 2022 curling. Olympic gold medal. Not just going to the Olympics, because yeah, that's nice, that's cool. No, I need a medal. Like and not just any medal, I want the gold medal. What we've covered today, in case you missed it, download the podcast at iTunes or tune in. The Cavs fans are absolutely overreacting about this win against the Boston Celtics. Absolutely overreacting. This is ridiculous. LeBron James does not make his great teammates better. He makes the average ones better. Does not make the great teams better. It does not make his great teammates better. Esteban Loaiza was arrested with 20 kilos of dope. We talked about that, how much it costs, where he got it from, how much it is, what the street value is, and how players used to smuggle dope in the past. Also, Johnny Manziel, do you feel sorry for him? And also my Olympic bid for curling 2022. You guys, make sure you guys share the feed, like the feed, and leave a comment. We take them. We'd like to get your feedback. Peace out. We will catch you guys tomorrow, but we might catch you today if something great happens. Follow me on Twitter at George Reister, Periscope, Instagram, everywhere.